Hi guys, before the episode begins, we just want to issue a major spoiler warning. If you've never seen Sonic 3 before, we highly recommend seeing it in theaters. Is it still out in theaters?
It should be.
Hello everyone, welcome back to StarNotes. As you can see, we are not in the normal recording studio. That is because we are going through some remodeling right now. But other than that, welcome back, and today the topic of the day is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Took the words right out of my mouth. So what's your guys' general thoughts on just knee-jerk reactions? You know, we've all seen Sonic the Hedgehog 3 at this point. What is the general consensus there?
Overall, I would say as a movie, I think it was pretty good. I think if you're just looking to watch like a general kids movie, I think it was all right.
Movie was excellent. Best thing the Sonic fan could ask for in the modern day right now, especially with recent video game adaptations such as the Mario movie. That one was really good, but Sonic 3, boy, you cannot beat that. Sonic 4 already confirmed.
Yeah, that's the craziest part for me. Is like they immediately just started going into Sonic 4 already.
Yeah, you can tell they're excited to work about this.
Generally, did it, obviously you probably already answered this question, did it live up to your expectations? Like what we said back at the past StarNotes, which if you want to watch that, it's going to be whatever, I don't know where. But it's going to be somewhere. It's going to be in a card up above, you can watch that, but you know, did it live up to our expectations?
I think it did. Personally, went about as I would expect it. Some expectations were correct. Some of them weren't. I think that one scene, the Supersonic scene.
Oh my god.
Supersonic versus Super Shadow.
That was so good.
That is something... We've seen that in a lot of Archie comics. I think that's what it was called.
Archie comics.
Like Supersonic versus, I don't know, Super Knuckles. Something like that. We have never seen that in any Sonic show or Sonic movie.
I thought Supersonic and Super Shadow went at each other's throats in Sonic X.
No. Or was it in Sonic X?
I might have been Sonic X.
Maybe. It's been a while since I've watched Sonic X.
It's been years, but I know they have a moment where they team up and basically reenact the plot of Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, that's where the movie takes inspiration from, and it did it well.
So moving on, what do we think about the actors? Because I have a lot to say about this. Yeah,
Keanu Reeves playing both Gerald and
that's
Ivo.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
That was
You're good, bro.
Yeah.
It's late. I'm tired.
You got the spirit. You got the spirit.
No, Jim Carrey playing both roles. Honestly, he knocked it out of the park. I don't know what else I can say about that.
I was gonna say, in my opinion, there is no other actor who could play both Robotniks and pull it off the way he does.
Fantastic. Yes, I agree.
It's like we're two characters played by the same actor.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. I feel
as Shadow,
based on the English dub of most Shadows I've heard, he does it pretty well. There is an interesting twist that he does with it, you know, being Keanu Reeves and not like a tradition. And he doesn't try to follow the traditional Shadow voice, but he does a really good job at giving the same emotional complexity as the other Shadows have.
Yeah, I agree. Shadow has always had this kind of like rough, dark voice that's kind of not too hard, but at the same time a little hard to mimic. He does it pretty well. He does it. It's not like he's trying to copy it to its entirety. He has his own little spin on it.
So now let's just focus on plot for a second. Just generally, what did you guys think about the pacing of the plot? Do you think it was well paced? I feel like it could have been done better.
I do as well. Sometimes I felt like it was a little quick in some areas. Sometimes it wasn't. Anyone remember when they killed off the general?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I was about to reference that. That was kind of like cringe in my opinion.
That was a little weird. Because I mean, when the robots do come in and blow up the entire restaurant, I kind of wasn't expecting him to just flop. Did he die?
He died.
He died there.
I didn't really expect for him to just flop over and die.
It was a kids movie. You gotta keep in mind it's a kind of a kids movie, but how he died was just way too fat. It was like
sometimes it didn't feel at the time. It didn't really feel like he died because the whole Sonic team, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, it didn't really give any emotional depth to it, I dare say. Yeah. I mean, it just didn't feel like he died. Like there was no emotional shock there.
There was none. And
we didn't have enough time to like bond with him over the previous two movies to actually build up that proper relationship.
Yeah, and they just got over that really fast. Like everyone else, they're just like, oh, he's dead. Okay, here's the car. Let's go. Yeah.
I was going to say, for me, the movie, like, it started like a train, you know? It started off slow, but then once it got up to speed, it stayed at it, and it was great beyond.
Exactly, yes. Early parts left a little to be desired, but towards the middle to end section, I'd say about the part where Tom gets his guts punched out by Shadow, I think that's where it kicked in.
That's
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
about that space. Right about that area.
Yeah. For me, it was a little before that, like where the pacing just started to get just about right. I think after Robotnik gets his transformation and they start to break into Gun, just, it's like, what, 20-ish minutes before that?
Oh, speaking of transformations, did anyone else catch that?
The what? Which one?
The transformation. Did you notice that that's his OG design?
Oh, yeah, that is. actually.
Gerald and Ivo.
Yeah.
Ivo? Wait, no, they're both
Ivo's
Ivo.
the younger.
Yeah.
Gerald's the older.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So I thought that was a cool little reference that a lot of Sonic fans would probably catch.
And before we get into the ending, I just want to pay particular attention to a certain scene. Gerald's death.
I know what you're talking
Is the funniest death I've seen in all of cinema, and it's not even close.
No movie will ever
No
top that.
movie will ever come close. Just, do you want to explain it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan. a little
Okay,
bit.
so I think it was around the time when Ivo and Gerald were having their whole dispute about, no, I want to blow up the Earth, no, I want to rule it, so I have to save it. So they get into this whole fight, and Ivo ends up, quote-unquote, losing and faking his death, kind of. But then Sonic Crew comes in and saves him, and then he ends up poking Gerald in the butt with one of Sonic's super quills,
Yeah.
and poking him into, what is it?
The shadow vortex. Like,
Kind of,
yeah.
the energy vortex.
Yeah,
I
but
think it was
the way
chaos
he
energy.
died.
Chaos energy.
The way he died was just like, boop, he's
The
gone.
face and then the blip out of existence. It felt like a Team Rocket joke.
It was so funny.
Kinda, yeah.
Blasting off again.
Kinda, yeah.
No, but just, I recommend looking at a clip of that. I would show it right here, but I
Don't
just
want to
would-
risk copyright.
Don't.
That one was copyright, and also I'd be laughing for like 5 minutes. No, that was way too funny, and like everyone at theater was like dying.
The theater was so loud for like 5 minutes. Get that as a gift, so I could spam it.
The what?
The face he makes when he's about to die. I just want it as a reaction gift.
All right, so what do we think about the ending? Do you think it was very satisfying, or
Are we talking about like the ending or post-credit scenes?
that's separate conversation?
Okay.
Yeah. How would we feel like the movie concluded? Do you think it would left the viewers as like, we're wanting more, or was it sort of like lackluster? They just kind of threw it like together at last minute because
I mean, it was just the, hey, we're all happy together again. Because
very cliche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, it was just mirroring the beginning scene of where we see Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles racing through the forest, and then meet up with Tom and his wife. I always forget her name.
I can't remember.
No,
either.
no,
Don't remember.
no disrespect to her. I always
No
forget her
disrespect to her. I like honestly forgot her
She,
name.
I honestly, she felt like more of a forgettable character, like
Not comic relief, but
comic relief.
like sort of like there because she has to.
Yeah.
Love interest. The love interest.
The
of
love
Tom.
interest.
Yeah,
but they don't develop her as much.
I think there was one scene where they were carving or something, and like Sonic came in with his friends like, yeah, we need your help, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, yeah.
get us
Oh
out.
yeah, because
Yeah.
like, we can't stand life without you two. It's just too slow.
Like that was the one part I was like, okay,
That was
it's
pretty funny.
That was
yeah,
really
that was
funny.
pretty wholesome.
The puppet.
The
like-
ending, I guess, I don't know how they would make it better, to be honest. I mean, it was all tied up in a nice little bow. I feel like I could live with that. It's like a happily ever after kind of ending.
Yeah.
I guess it was very cliche, but I guess where the true ending was the post credits. There was 2 post credits.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, it was Metal Sonic.
Right.
Metal
It was the
Sonic.
reveal of Metal
Yeah.
Sonic and Amy, which a lot of fans were skeptical about and a lot of fans were hoping for. Due to the rumors, yeah, of course.
Yeah, which means
So-
they're gonna follow the plot of Sonic CD, but without Robotnik being, confirmed alive.
So, the whole theory we have is that Amy and Metal Sonic might be from the future, and there's also something to consider that there are multiple Metal Sonics. In standard Sonic lore, there's only one. In this movie, there are multiple.
I think they're taking more inspiration from the Sonic show that came out on Netflix, I think last year.
Oh, the Prime. Sonic Prime.
Sonic
yeah.
Prime. Spoiler warning for this, obviously. Near the end of Sonic Prime, it's revealed that Nine, one of the shattered personalities
Of Tails, yes.
Yeah, he builds primes of basically the best fighters. So you have a Prime Knuckles, a Prime
Sonic.
Sonic,
A Prime
Amy.
Rouge. Yeah.
Rouge wasn't there though.
Yes, she was.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. Oh yeah, no, she was.
Yeah, I guess moving on from that, for the second cutscene, nothing too crazy, just the fact Shadow's alive.
Which we all
Right.
knew was going to happen. I mean, he's too vital of a character to just let
Yeah.
go.
They wouldn't make an entire movie about him just to kill him off and like.
Right, and that's essentially what happened in Sonic Adventure 2 anyway. Shadow's survival was pretty much
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I am interested how they're going to play his character now, because he kind of like redeemed himself
Mm-hmm.
a little bit towards the
Yeah.
end of the movie. So I wonder, would he join the team? Would he be a vigilante?
I don't think
Or-
so.
yeah.
One thing before we get to that is a little reference to Shadow's power rings he holds. I thought that was a nice touch. But moving on, Shadow's always been kind of a loner. Even he has the whole thing with Team Dark.
Yeah.
E Omega 1, 2, 3, Omega, Rouge, and Shadow. They are kind of Team Dark, but
Yeah.
he kind of didn't stay with them all too long. He
Yeah.
prefers to be by himself. So honestly, I think there's a potential for a Shadow show as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, spin-off.
Yeah,
I think.
just like they did with Knuckles.
Yeah.
Well, better than Knuckles.
All right, so do you think Sonic 3 was faithful to the Sonic fan base?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I would say absolutely as well. They kept Maria in there. They didn't really change anything.
Maria
but, yeah.
still died in a less graphic way, but it was still meaning to Shadow's character.
Right.
I'd say
Right.
they followed the plots of Sonic. What was it? Sonic
Sonic
Adventure
Adventure 2 pretty faithfully.
Yeah, with its own twist, obviously. Overall, it felt pretty in line with what you would expect. It follows the major story beats. It adapted quite a bit of the music. The song that played during the
Live and learn.
Live and Learn during the final fight. Excellent.
The initial struggle between Sonic and Shadow, and then Shadow whipping out the super form, was something I did not expect.
Oh my god.
I expected when they were fighting in like across the earth and
Oh
When
yeah,
when
no,
you
that
use
was
the same powers as
that was
Sonic.
crazy.
I
I was
would-
like
I did not-
cinematically, it was really well done.
really.
Yeah.
Just like you could definitely tell the scope of like this entire
That
fight.
is
was,
the most or the greatest way I've seen the super forms like showcase in
Their
any
strength.
Yeah, the strength of that.
so
Or Sonic knocking Shadow to
To
the
the
moon,
moon,
yeah.
out of his super form. That's
that's
oh boy.
that's well done on the cinematographers actually.
Yeah.
So shout out to who made this movie? Universal.
I think so.
I thought it was Paramount.
No, it's Paramount.
It's Paramount. My bad. Universal just makes everything. So
I mean,
Yeah.
it's fair. Universal does own a lot, like Disney.
anyway, so I just want to talk about because I think this is pretty interesting. So the box office officially as of January 13, which is when we're recording this, is internationally globally 384.8 million.
Woo!
Right. But for context, the Super Mario movie, 1.3 billion globally. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's kind of like dessert, or do you think this should have gotten higher?
Honestly, I think I'm okay because I mean it's only been out for a month, and at the same time, I don't really care as much as being a Sonic fan. I really only care about how the movie looks and how well they represent the games. If they make like the same amount of money as the Mario movie or more money than the Mario movie, I don't really care. If the movie does well, that's all I care about.
And I guess that's kind of like a main thing people should take away from that. It's like, oh, just because it didn't make as much as the Mario movie
Doesn't mean
just
it's bad.
Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just Sonic 3 is also kind of a smaller, like more niche fan base than Mario. Mario, everyone knows
I
Mario.
was gonna say the same
Yeah.
thing. Like Mario, everyone and their grandmothers has played Mario. There is an image of the out there floating on the internet. I can't remember where it's from, but it's a photo of a mom helping her 3 sons beat a Mario level on the Game Boy. Because Mario is more of like a universal
Yeah,
franchise.
I kind of agree with that.
But Sonic's
a little harder,
I was gonna say,
yeah.
as it developed, it became more of what's known as like part of the nerd niche community.
Yeah, I
as
kind of
would put
agree
it.
with that.
Anyway, so moving on, our final topic is just like our analysis on the Rotten Tomatoes and official critics score. So, if you were to take a guess, I don't know if you guys seen it already, but how do you think this rated with official critics?
From what I remember, critics I think put it at between an 86 and a 92, and I believe audience put it at a 96.
You would be correct on the dot for
Wow.
audience,
How about that?
but for Rotten Tomatoes critics, it would be 87%, which I kind of understand, considering that they kind of cater too much towards children.
Yeah, I
A little
agree.
bit. Like the humor was
The
also a
humor
little bit
was-
excessive at times, like, specifically when Sonic was mentioning Shadow's like highlights. I felt that was a bit excessive. I mean, it was kind of his character, but it was just like it didn't really hit for me.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
the Super Mario Bros. Movie, it actually got 59%.
Really?
And it was actually certified rotten
Huh.
instead of fresh, which is what, you kind of want the favorable
Yeah.
one.
That's interesting.
But it got 95% audience score.
Audience, yeah, that makes sense.
Right, but 59% for critics. Usually you want to be paying attention to the critics. There is certain exceptions, but usually you want to be paying attention to the actual professional like critics reviews rather than the audience, because the audiences could be biased. In the case of the Super Mario movie, I mean, yes, audiences did like it and they did enjoy it, but from a technical standpoint, I can understand what the official critics are coming from, right? That's all I'll say about it right now. But the fact Sonic the Hedgehog got 87%, I feel like it should have been a little bit lower.
I'm happy where Sonic is now, and I'm glad it's doing successfully, but I see where you're coming from.
I was going to say, Mario, again, general franchise compared to Sonic. The reason why Mario was able to thrive so much as a more, and appeal to everyone is because there's practically almost no story. It's
Just playing the game.
Right.
Just
it's
playing the game.
really just a 3D,
exactly.
it's just a 2D platformer, which makes it so appealing to everyone. When it comes to movie adaptation, you have to come up with a plot. You have to adapt.
Moving on, side tangent from Mario movie.
Yeah, right.
So Sonic 3 being 87%, good on them, right? Could have done better. I can see why it's 87%, not close to 100.
Agreed.
I mean,
You know, there is still some issues, but people generally favorably did like this movie.
Yeah.
I would say I like this movie too. Obviously, I have some gripes with it, but that's mainly on the technical side. If I was just looking at this blind, right, and I'm seeing like my favorite Sonic characters, I'd be like, I got what I wanted from this movie. I got my $10 worth.
yeah,
I would say.
I would say though. I would watch this movie for I would pay it. You already have to pay to see a movie.
Yeah.
I would,
You would pay again.
yeah, I'd pay more just to see it.
You would invest in the company to actually see it again. Of the 3 movies, which one is your favorite? 1, 2, or 3?
I have no gripes with 1. I just recently watched 1 and 2. I really enjoyed 1 for what it was. It was a good start. 3, I think 3 might be my favorite now. Because before I think it was 2. But as I get deeper and deeper into the Sonic lore, I think the movie that follows after might become my favorite from now on.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. Every movie lays in a way where it's we could have a sequel, but at the same time, if we don't get a sequel, the movies would be just fine like that.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
I agree with that
Yeah,
as well. Yeah, as a standalone, Sonic 1 was pretty good. But yeah, Sonic 3 is going to be my favorite just because of Gerald's death scene.
Fair enough.
Just that alone. Just to make it clear.
Do you think they're going to get rid of the whole number scheme?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they're done with that. Yeah,
They're done.
I have a theory that it's just gonna be called Sonic versus Metal Sonic.
Yeah,
Sonic into the Metalverse.
that sounds.
That sounds copyright infringement.
They're gonna get hit for that. They're gonna get hit for that.
Oh no. So with that, just a couple of closing things, before we go. We are going to be in the Home Student Center filming all our StarNotes from now on. So if you, the viewer, want to get in here on our little podcast stuff, you can win whatever's in this box.
We know what's in it.
We know what's in it, but do you? No. But we are always in the second floor of the Home Student Center. Where is this? By the NIU sign.
This is the NIU sign on technically the ground level, not the second level. That's the hotel.
So if you want to share your thoughts on next week's topic, which will be Squid Game Season 2, spoiler alert. So if you have any special thoughts, feel free to drop in. We will make a social media post when we will be recording this, so easier for you to figure out if you want to drop in or not.
We also won't be doing it when it's this dark.
Yeah,
It'll be a little earlier.
It's a bit dark and also a bit cold. So
Freezing cold.
But yeah, we will be here in the kind of marked table, so feel free to say hello. Other than that, that does it for Sonic 3.
Thank you everyone
So-
for
Thank you
for
tuning
watching.
in. It's been a pleasure having you.
All right, and we will see you all next week.